Have you ever worked on a deal all the way to closing to find out your investor doesn't have the necessary cash to close? Have you worked with an investor that only seems to send lowball offers and waste your time? Hey, my name is Lewis, founder of a private lender and a real estate investor. I want to introduce to you Act Like an Agent and Think Like an Investor, the real estate agent's ultimate guide to working with investors the right way. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, there are different types of investors out there. So discovering what kind of investor you're dealing with, it's incredibly important to building long-lasting business relationships with that client. If at any point through this video you find this information valuable, please subscribe to the channel for real estate, sales strategies, but most importantly, more mindset. Today I'm going to give you 9 things you should discuss with your potential investor before you show them any properties. Number 1, experience. What's your experience? And yes, right into it. What kind of investing experience do they have? Do they have background in real estate, finance, or business? Or have they just come out hyped up in peak state at one of these investment events and are driven by emotion? How many properties have you fixed and flipped or bought and rented within the last 36 months? This brings me to number 2, exit strategy. What's your end goal? I believe this question should come early on, and if not in the very beginning, because oftentimes an investor without a clearly defined exit strategy will have trouble deciding what kind of investing they want to pursue. For example, if an investor's goal is to continue working but retire in 10 years from passive income, then fix and flipping houses is probably not the ideal strategy for them. Don't feel uncomfortable asking these questions. This will help you build long-lasting relationships, since the goal can easily be a 1, 5, or even a 10-year plan. This brings me to number 3, financing. How are you financing your investments? Financing can often be the most frustrating part of dealing with investors. So knowing how the investor plans on financing their investments is key. Being connected with a reliable lender like myself with great terms can give you a market advantage. He or she will love you if you have access to cheaper funds. Have you ever worked with an investor only to see the deal fall apart because they couldn't line up the financing or the lender? They couldn't execute. It happens frequently in the real estate investment world, largely because many investors' eyes are simply larger than their pockets. And this is often found in many other industries. Many investments require creativity to close a deal, while others only require a 20% bank loan for down payment or even 100% cash. This question is so important that I'm going to dedicate a series of videos to helping you understand the different financing options that can exist for your investors, so you can offer these suggestions and guide your investor into making better financing decisions. Also, to make sure you can always take the ball to the end zone, certainty of close. Next one, number 4, type of investments. What kind of investment properties are you looking for? Next, the obvious question is, what are you looking for? As I discussed earlier, there are numerous niches within the real estate tank, from single family homes to multifamily to commercial. On top of that, each one of these niches has numerous sub-niches, and most investors have a very narrow approach. Number 5, budget. How much do you want to spend? Is the investor looking for a multi-million-dollar home or a small starter home? Are they looking for a high-end multifamily or a low-end multifamily? Within every niche and strategy, there are different price points. So understanding what kind of prices the investor is looking to entertain can help you know where to look. Find out how much cash they have available and if they're using the bank or not for leverage. And if the financing is needed, what is the pre-approved loan amount? Additionally, this question will help you do better and understand what kind of investor you're dealing with. For example, if your investor is looking for starter homes in the $100,000 range that don't need much rehab, or the investor is looking to take up on bigger projects from the $500,000 to maybe $1 million range with bigger rehabs. And this brings me to number 6, zip codes. What zip codes are you buying in? Some investors are looking in the classiest parts of town. Some have no problem entering war zones. But most importantly, and the majority are looking for something in the middle. Find out from your investor where they plan on buying or selling and where they won't ever consider. Some investors have their preferred zip codes or neighborhoods. And this brings me to number 7, your team. Who's on your team? It's a good idea to know who your investor is working with on these projects. Even if they're a one-man show, no investor can do it alone. It's a good idea to see how prepared your investor is with general contractors, lenders, property managers, attorneys, insurance agents, accountants, maybe escrow or title representatives, and more. By looking at the team that your investors surrounded themselves with, you can see where you fit within their needs and maybe find other great referral resources for yourself. This will show you and show them your value in the transaction and possibly guarantee effectiveness. This brings me to number 8. How many offers? How many offers do you plan to submit? Some investors submit hundreds of offers a week, while others only submit one each year. This is a good time to get to know their method when it comes to locking in these deals. Are they simply throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks? Or are they making educated decisions with their offers to guarantee success? And this brings me to the last one, number 9. What do you need from me? What do you need from me? Finally, a great question is simply to ask, how can I be of best service? Be open with your client. Rather than trying to determine how you can be best or best help this client, many investors have a good idea already of what they're looking for. Different than your first-time home buyer, that they're already very familiar with their buying and selling process. Some investors may only be looking for someone to send over deals. Others may be looking for someone to show them the properties and submit the offers. Some others may only be looking primarily for a sales agent. Find out what your client needs, and time is of the essence for both you and him. So an open flow of communication is key. If you or anyone you know is interested in help with their investments or financing, anywhere from the inventory to the lending, call me. I'll be glad to help you. And if you found this video valuable and learned at least one thing, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.